Western Spring Television. Ours it is.
All right. Thank you for joining us. Good morning, and good morning, world. Good morning, Nigeria. And this is another day that the Lord has made. We are grateful. I am grateful for life and grateful for you as well to be with us at this time. Today, Tuesday, I think the 3rd of September, year 2024. And of course, as they say, time waits for no one. We were just about the Happy New Month thing a few days ago, but now it is the 3rd day of the month. And it's not just about waiting for the day to count. It's about making the day, the days, hours, minutes, every moment count in whatever we do. Femi Ohiolei is my name. And this is Morning Spring, where we look about everything that has to do with this great nation called Nigeria. We look at the headlines from the papers. And of course, we then get talking about all of these issues. You already know what we do. And we are beaming live on channel 190 StarTimes DTT and also on our various social media platforms, Instagram, Facebook, X, especially our YouTube channel, still Western Spring Television. And ladies and gentlemen, look at who we have here. Evelyn, Ohiolei.
I thought you were going to do a drum. Exactly, a drum roll.
Baka.
Yeah, I'm back and it's good to be back. Femi, thank you so very much. It's a beautiful morning and I should welcome you especially to the Ember Months. This is the first time we are seeing, I'm talking to the esteemed audience and I know that you have goals, you have what you have written down for the month of September, and this is me telling you that you should go for them. I know that there is this notion behind this Ember Months that people tend to connect it with saying that this is when evil things happen, but I do not really believe in that because I know it is what you put your mind to that gets established. So put your mind on great things and definitely they will get established. My name is Evelyn Ohiolei and I will not pass the baton back to Femi without saying especially thanking Tomilola Daniel for standing in place and doing a very, very good
Tunde
job.
Idowu.
And who?
Tunde Idowu.
Yeah, and Tunde Idowu for doing a very great job while I was away. It was a very short but very restful 2 weeks. Great to be back.
Yeah,
and great to see your face again, Femi.
Very well. And by the way, when you were coming in and I saw a attire this morning, I said you give these office people things to talk about this morning now. But it speaks to maybe and chemistry in a kind of way. But it's good. How was it?
It was fun. It was good. I mean, it was majorly for rest, so I didn't do much of going out and all of that, and I was able to, rest well.
Very well, and that's good to know. Rest you have done, and now back to work.
Work I must do.
Work you must do, so that money you must earn, and a living you must have. Oh God. All right, we'll continue. By the way, many things have happened. Remember during former President Buhari's time when he traveled out of the country, and many things happened. Now, on X, the conversation was like, Baba, why you are away? Many things happened. So,
okay.
Evelyn, why you are away?
What happened?
But you were still in the country.
Exactly.
We were told that, let me just paint a quick background because we are going to be having the conversation before we go to the papers. After the papers. But why you are away, that's the hashtag right now. Evelyn, why you are away?
Okay.
Many persons have been, disturbing the NNPCL and the government to say, people are saying you guys are paying subsidy. You are still continuing through the back door. But, a meeting was held still while you were away. And I think it was a press briefing about the 2023 audit of the NNPCL, that thing that was done. And they posted 3.3 trillion naira in gains, NNPCL. And at that meeting, I think the CFO, Chief Financial Officer, tried to answer the question. And he said the issue of subsidy, they have not been paying. He said, in fact, he said for the past 9 months, they have not paid. No market, and nobody has gotten any penny from them. That what people what people like you, nosy people like you, might be thinking is subsidy, that the government gave them a directive that the landing cost of the product, you know, should be in a kind of way reduced. And so they are to sell at a particular rate. And so the other part of, you know, that particular rate is being taken care of by the government, is what is called shortfall. So don't see it. That, I'm telling you, I'm just, are you updated now? It's
yes,
not subsidy.
I am.
It is called shortfall. Because if the product is imported and it landed at 1,000 naira, and the NNPCL are saying, for example, they are told to sell it 700 naira, who pays for the 300 naira? That's where the shortfall comes in. Perhaps you don't know, so you're updated. You don't really say subsidy, it's shortfall. They are being taken care of. And all of a sudden, people have been saying, you know, I think there was a report from Bloomberg and some major newspapers to say, you guys are owing. It's like you are insolvent. The way you are, deniers, you know, distractions, deflections, quietness, all of a sudden, at the weekend, while you are still away, and the NNPCL came to say, now don't catch me. Yeah, it's like, finally we are owing. And we have financial strain. That's what it's called. Not that they are owing. It's a the things that they do are put financial strain on them. And so it might affect production. No, not production. It might disrupt, you know, the supply chain because of their indebtedness. Sorry, their financial strain being experienced by them. I just say I should update you, so that you know. So are you updated now?
I am, and you know, you did a very, very good job as well. To those of our, you know, audience viewers who were not updated about this, I'm sure they now have.
Now you do.
Yes, now and they have an updated version of what is happening at the in the NNPCL. And you're talking about names, terminologies. Nigeria has a way with terminologies. I mean, it was the same Nigeria we begin to hear what like inconclusive and palliatives became more, you know, became prevalent, and also we had the placeholder thing during the election.
Placeholder.
Now we are having that. It is
there was even a step aside from Ibrahim Babangida at the time.
Exactly.
He's not leaving. He said he's stepping aside.
So
and he has been stepping aside.
I feel that and there was I read yesterday that there was an update that the NNPCL wants to direct that the landing cost should be at the normal, just so that it can curb exporting of not exporting, smuggling of this fuel to our neighboring countries. Now people may have to buy fuel at over 1,200 naira
per
liter.
Used to. It was not the same narrative under Buhari.
So we
can't be subsidizing for you know, neighboring countries.
Exactly.
We
have a lot on our hands, Femi. We really do have a lot on our hands, and this is the time that we need responsible leadership. Responsible leadership. All right, the papers are in. We hear so this is the time where we'll take a breather. When we come back, we'll tell you and let you in on what is happening across the country and beyond, as reported by different national dailies. Stay with us. All right, beginning with the Punch newspaper this morning. Let's see what we have got at this time. On the Punch newspaper this morning, PDP governors, Wike may clash as NWC meets Wednesday. NEC pressures NWC to hand over Rivers PDP to Fubara. This is one of the riders. The second rider with attached to that headline says, PDP governors will address minister's threat at meeting, says Forum. And Femi, you understand that the statement and comments made by the former governor of Rivers State, TSM Wike, who is now minister in this present administration, has drawn a lot of attention and criticism from some quarters, saying that is talking as a dictator, as the owner,
as an emperor
of Rivers State, and also him extending such threats or such comments to other states, saying they are going to be under fire. And people are saying, you're just a minister in this administration. Even Mr. President has no right to say that, let alone you, an employee, you know, under him. You know, it's a lot of things, and people are crossing their fingers to see what happens in the next coming weeks, especially as
it's very if you ask me, to put it mildly, very unnecessary. You might call it very arrogant and maybe unfortunate, because for you to say, extend a threat publicly in the faces of the people, like you don't care, like you can do anything anyhow, to other states, not just within, even the rivers. You don't own rivers. Nobody owns rivers. The people of rivers are the owners of rivers, not just an individual, either the current governor or the former governor or any other governor that will come after. It's not just something that belongs to an individual. You don't even have a kind of, you don't have any power to do that, but threatening other states to disrupt them and put fire in their state, threatening state governors just because they came to support the person you're having issues with. We have a lot to do with our democracy.
Yes, this speaks to the state of our democracy and also the state of rule of law in this country. One man cannot threaten others. The power belongs to the people.
Truly.
And that's actually the mantra of the People's Democratic Party. Part of the people. How come one person is holding on to this power and behaving like an emperor that the party cannot even, sanction?
Yeah,
there have been calls
or
for
look him straight in the face and tell him what he needs to know.
Wiki, but it's been like they are running away from it.
Quickly before you continue, Evelyn, and I think that the worst thing, if you ask me, is the fact that, you know what they say about what evil needs to fester is when supposed good people look away. His employer should be reining him. You don't say such. But you know, when people make this kind of statements and everybody keeps quiet, people are supposed to hold him responsible, especially starting from Mr. President.
Silence
you
is
don't make
louder.
such a statement, especially publicly. And these are the issues, because if he can do it, somebody else will be emboldened to say, I can also do it.
Silence is louder, and they say silence means consent.
And he's not golden at this point.
Exactly. Hunger protest. Britain denies fleeing as court remands 10. Let's move over to the top strip of the Punch newspaper this morning. Petrol will be exported if marketers boycott products. This is coming from Dangote Refinery. Hospitals, tertiary institutions, electricity subsidy may gulp 188 billion naira. And NNPCL may stop petrol import as depots price nears 1,000 naira to a liter, per liter rather. And let's see more headlines here on the Punch newspaper. External debt servicing rises to $2.78 billion. This is credited to a CBN report. An arrested Canada-based Nigerian woman threatening Yoruba risks 2-year jail. This is also one story that has remained in the public space, and people throwing in their 2 cents about this particular issue. But we should not forget that this is a big threat, and people are saying it's just probably just clout, but you don't chase clout.
Yeah,
you know, threatening people, promising, I mean, it was a promise to poison the water of some tribes, the Yoruba and the Edo, and people say this is not just a threat. Nobody can go online and just say anything and says, oh, it's for clout. But then there are people who are saying that, is it because she is from a particular tribe in Nigeria? What happens to those who have said similar things and nothing was done? In fact, people have said that this administration is known, or can be said to be known, for selective justice. If other people that have said similar things are still working freely, why should this woman only? But then we know that she is not on Nigerian soil, and of course the Canadian security agencies have been drawn into this, so it's really not about Nigeria doing this now, although they were the one that actually brought it out to the notice of the Canadian government. But then it is what it is. This is to tell you that when you have free data, or when you can afford to buy data on your phone, you know what?
You should be responsible.
Exactly. Lastly, from the Punch newspaper this morning. Okay, not lastly. Tinubu meets Xi Jinping today, signs bilateral agreements. And Edo governorship poll. I will work for citizens' prosperity, says Ighodalo. An APC Lord's chair for leading vibrant campaign. And I want to ask, is this vibrant campaign also does it have to do with what Senator representing Edo North, Senator Comrade Adams Oshiomhole said responding to the statement of the First Lady of Edo State, that also has drawn criticism from different quarters. But that will from the Punch newspaper.
Interesting, I know maybe because of time or something that I saw the video yesterday. In fact, I saw it on your status, and I was like, really? Can we be this vile as a people? Still, this about politics. Is this the blues that people talk about?
Yeah.
Especially for two-time governor or comrade who you expect so much from. Of course, when politics comes in at times in Nigeria, so that I don't risk.
They say when they go low, you go lower. But some people have said
there should be a line to that lower.
They say if you go lower than what Senator Adams or Ohiolei have gone, you might find crude oil.
Really, but it won't be the positive one, because for you to spite somebody just because you need a comeback with their state of expectancy about children, childlessness, just because you want to prove a point and you on camera. Really, there is a lot already coming from a father and a grandfather. It's a lot, but we wish the good people, your people, all the best in the elections as well. No matter how vibrant the campaign is and the promises, the Edo people should benefit at the end of the day. That's the crux of the matter. Interesting one there. And you were talking about people that have made very obscene, very notorious, very silly comments and hateful ones online, and talked about maybe how selective, because that's the perception right now. That was this Lagospedia guy on X who is always tweeting controversial things. All of a sudden, he or she, I think is a he, disabled the account or something, and that's all we heard from these things. We should be responsible as a people, irrespective of your tribe or your language, your political affiliation. There are things that should not be said. There should be always a line that reasonable, sensible people should not cross, no matter what the interest is. Moving away from that, I go to the Daily Trust. Daily Trust newspaper. Boko Haram kills many farmers, others in fresh Yobe attack. With riders burn houses, shops, state government plans mass burial. Insecurity disrupting agricultural services, northern governance. Boko Haram kills many farmers. You're talking, maybe you should put in the right context, not just farmers, many people. Human lives have been snuffed off. Possibly people's fathers, people's grandfathers, people's uncles. And what happens to that family? Grappling with the loss, grappling with the human loss, grappling with the financial loss, mental torture, just because those people, their only sin is to be at that place at that particular point in time where Boko Haram are roaming free. Sometimes you wonder what else. And we're hearing that state government is planning mass burial. The question is, Evelyn, is that what these people owe the government? Not the state government or the federal government or any government keeping them alive. Because that's the first responsibility. They have a duty to keep these people alive. But all of a sudden, the only duty we are hearing right now after their demise is the mass burial.
I mean, that speaks to what is the worth of the human life in Nigeria. How valuable does government hold the lives of their citizens? I mean, if we come to answer that question sincerely, then I think we will move forward in this country, and we know that the kind and type of leadership we have at the helms of affairs. Because even when people lose dogs, when people lose their pets, it's very painful to them.
People have miscarriage.
Exactly. Let alone the human life with goals, with ambition. You do not know what that particular life can become in the future for the country, not just for their families, but for the country. And we keep on losing these lives. We keep on losing this talent.
Reckless abandon.
Exactly. This speaks to the kind of leadership, just the type of leadership that we have in the country. And I think as Nigeria and as Nigerians, we should demand more from our leaders.
Exactly, like we are doing now. We should. And I hope, we just have people who can hear, who can listen, who can feel.
Yeah.
Because when those kind of people now, imagine, I'm not calling for that, rise up to say we are protesting for human lives, then you begin to hear security report. You begin to hear intelligence report. you begin to hear and see reasons why those people cannot do that thing, because their protest might be infiltrated, just because they are demanding, for improved governance and the security of their lives and properties. This is terrible at this time. Yeah, we keep hearing military operatives of security personnel are neutralizing these guys. Are they multiplying by the day? Is there a truth that we have not been told? These are some of the questions we should be asking, which we are asking, and we hope we'll get a sincere answer at the end of the day. Just below that, you have some men behind bars. They are literally behind bars, said to be some, arrested and bad governance protesters. They were arraigned in court yesterday, or they are about. These are some of the issues to say if you can arrest, on very huge allegations, by the way, mutiny, treason, inciting public violence, and the rest of it, which we are not saying they didn't do. But if it's easy to identify, to pick up these ones, how about those ones that are even flaunting, Evelyn, worth of money, dollars, naira, on TikTok accounts? But somebody can threaten you and say, if you're on X and you're saying something that is against the law, so to speak, give them 2 weeks, they will find you out. But how about these criminals that are, how can the terrorists have a TikTok account, displaying guns? And we even have non-state actors that have been boasting, especially from the Niger Delta, showing guns online. But those ones, they are not inciting violence. A serving minister is threatening to put fire in other states. Everybody can,
Yeah, it's a sad one.
Can just keep quiet.
And I should say that this is not sensational journalism, because
this is real.
Not inciting anything. But I feel that let me just say the basic is what is sauce for the goose should be sauce for the gander. If we should not be doing selective justice at this time.
Exactly.
Whoever is found wanting, or whoever has broken the law should feel the heat of the law.
Of course.
That's just it. And that is why you see the image, I don't know if it's what it's called, that represents justice. Yeah. It's blinded because it's not saying your tribe, your religion, where you come from, your gender. If you break the law,
just the scale and the sword.
Exactly. So if you break the law, definitely it will come against you.
All right. And very quickly, end bad governance. Lawyers. Amnesty International kick as court remands protesters in prison. And riders, it is abuse of power. Police declare British national wanted. And protest, not treason. Britain replies federal government. Atiku will be Kwakwanso to unite against Tinubu in 2027. PDP. And presidency denies a rift between Tinubu and Shetima. Or the best to them. Nigeria has second highest rate of food insecurity in the world. That's coming from Bill Gates. And IGP Egbetokun gets 3-year tenure extension. Interesting. All the best to him. Amidst fierce scarcity, NNPCL to become sole buyer from Dangote refinery. That's from a report. And Aradua's mother dies at 102. That's one, longevity that the woman had. By the way, that's the mother of the late president of Nigeria, the late former president, rather, Umaru Musa Yar'Adua. Of course, that's a mother that many Nigerian leaders, usually find their way to pay homage to. Finally, he has passed on at the age of 100. People around here will say at the ripe age. I wonder what that is. Ripe age of 102. I felt I'm present with the family. Quite a life, by the way.
Yes.
That'll be all.
All right, we'll move over to Vanguard. Let's see what we have on Vanguard. I will be touching on some headlines that probably we have not touched on from other papers. On Vanguard newspaper, anxiety as pump price of petrol raises towards 1,405 naira per litre. Some riders here. Costing template shows London price at 1,205 naira per litre. And then PCL already overwhelmed by subsidy. Marketers give condition for participating in importation. New official pump price expected this month. Dangote refinery concludes fuel refining plans. Commuters pay higher fares. A lot around, petrol at this time. Pump price might go as high as 1,405 naira per litre. And there might be question as to what happened to the Port Harcourt refinery that the government said will begin production last month, August. I mean, they kept shifting and shifting the post. We are in September.
From last December.
Yeah, exactly. We're in December and we are waiting for what they will say, that ministry will say again, what's the reason for not fulfilling their promise in August. We keep our fingers crossed, as we always do here. And away from that, PDP in talks with Kwankwaso Obi, says sports spokesman, and this is towards 2027. Forex, renewed naira depreciation begins at market as market turnover falls 25%. Presidency denies alleged frosty relationship between Tinubu Shatima. I do not regret joining APC. Amechi declares the man has been missing in action for quite some months, not months, since he exited.
Since he left
office, and now, he has spoken again. I think after he exited office, one place he spoke was at a conference or thereabout, where he told Nigerians, says, see, if you guys do not pick up stones and start stoning some of us, you will not get the kind of leadership you want. And now he has spoken again, saying that he...
I remember that meeting where he said, where people were saying, how come he has been quiet? He said, what do they want him to say?
Yeah.
That Nigerians are not the kind of people you speak for. That the people you are speaking for are even fighting you. So
now he still says that he doesn't regret joining APC.
Okay.
Nigerian Airlines not delisted from operating to US over safety. This is credited to the federal government. And in the world of sports, talking about 2024 Paris Paralympics, Team Nigeria win first medal. Sports Minister Els Bolaji. I mean, first medal in both the Olympics and Paralympics, because remember that Nigeria did not smell that medal table in the last
you don't
Olympics.
have to put it that way.
We didn't at all.
I know, but you don't have to rub
close.
it in. I put it that way.
It's good that at least we now have a medal to our name.
From the Paralympians.
To the Paralympians.
From the Paralympians. Trust them that they will never disappoint. And it's a big ups to them that what supposed able-bodied could not do.
I don't think we should put it that way.
No, let's put it there that, the thing is, let me put a context to that. The expectation is always on, Olympics and what we are set again. There are people knows, okay, we have all of these athletes. I don't want to put a name to them. The football team, everybody, the expectation is high. But the moment the Olympics finish, and then we have ended it the way it ended, that's all. Paralympians, only, you will say maybe sport inclined, and maybe people like us or elites are the ones who knows that even Paralympics is happening. That's what I'm saying. Okay. The expectation, some persons don't, know, the way we say it in Nigeria, they don't sense that this is happening. Now, people have low expectations about, they are winning medals. That's why I put it that way. That even with the low expectation and the low publicity, they have always been turning up for the nation.
And Mr. and Mrs., just for the laughs, yes, I didn't give you money for 3 weeks, but why should I be ashamed because I ate food in my house? And that's coming from Mr. Mrs. Respondent now says, is the food AI generated? I mean, don't you care where I got the money from? And away from it being for humor, I think this actually speaks to men to be more responsible. Even if you do not have the money at the time, I think proper communication with your wife as to see, do you know what, can you just do this at this time? You know what's happening. We will sort this out later. If you have to borrow, I know that women, when it comes to giving out loans, you might continue paying that loan for the next 5 years. Even after you finish paying, they'll tell you, you have not paid though. When last did you pay final installment, you're still remaining like 20,000, and that 20,000 naira they can collect it like 5 times. I mean, that speaks to.
I think you have made a balance of the conversation.
The dramatic women.
The thing is, what men would do as responsibility normally, and they will not fret about, because it's their responsibility.
Yeah.
Fine. The moment a woman comes in, averagely, I'm not saying all, averagely, and he tries to show that, pick up that bill. I saw a video on there, I think it's a skit, that the woman had to come in to pay some responsibility. It's a comedy skit. And the woman, she needed a stethoscope to be feeling her body and the temperature, and she was crying. Her leg was paining her. Her head was paining her. Just because she came in for one day. These are some of the issues. I think beyond the humor, we should just be understanding and be responsible for ourselves. Yeah. All
right, that will be all from the Vanguard newspaper.
A quick one from the Nation. Quick one. Very quick one from the Nation newspaper. Edo 2024. Are we complete Ohiolei project, says Okpebolo. Okay. And how about, interesting, how about Obaseki's project? Or Edo government's project? I think it's high time politicians begin to look from that place. Not an individual's project, but the project of the good people of that particular state, because you already seen the cherry picking.
Yeah.
The person that has spent almost 8 years,
what about
you ignore the project and go back in time. These are some of the issues. By the way, I think this is a convenient point for us to take a pause, and then when we come back, we will be speaking to the matters of the day, the NNPCL, so much semantics, so much coinage of words, so much denial. Now we are seeing admittance. What does this mean? Especially for this nation. What happens to really saying things the way it is and the true state of things and the trust deficit that happens most of the times when we see some of these dynamics play out? We'll be speaking with a critical stakeholder who will give us a hang of a sense of what we are in for right now and what we continue to be if actually we don't really clear, this quote-unquote mess in which we find ourselves. It's Morning Spring on Western Spring Television. Stay with us. We'll be back very shortly.